Right. So good afternoon to everyone who has just joined us, and welcome to OHRPP's Learn at Lunch series. My name is Tiffany Rose, and I'm with the Quality Improvement Unit within OHRPP. And today's topic is how to submit new studies in BruinIRB. This is a live repeat of a previous session of the same topic. However, we have some new updates that you'll want to listen out for. And hopefully we've been able to incorporate some of your previous questions and feedback into this current presentation. So in today's session, we will provide a brief overview of the new application requirements and discuss some of the application's features as we go through a live demonstration of creating a new application together. We will try our best to create a new application that closely resembles a standard investigator-initiated clinical trial. And the primary purpose of this demonstration is to highlight the application's features, show where to upload certain documents, and point out some similarities and differences between BruinIRB and WebIRB. Please note that we are demonstrating a new study application. This particular BruinIRB application will not be accepted until our phase 2 rollout that will launch September 9th. So don't try to go ahead and try to submit these applications, but we're showing you in advance what to do. And BruinIRB is currently accepting applications for UCLA to rely on another IRB. We're accepting applications for emergency use, right to try, and expanded access protocols. After this session, all registrants, regardless of attendance, will receive a link to the recording of this training. The training, again, will be posted on our OHRPP YouTube channel for future viewing or sharing with others. We will also send out a link to our OHRPP feedback survey. We appreciate your survey, and a lot of you did send feedback for the last Learn at Lunch. So we greatly appreciate your anonymous feedback. So if you still have questions that we're unable to answer during this session, please feel free to use the anonymous feedback survey to share your thoughts, comments, and questions and suggestions. We will also want to remind you that in addition to today's Learn at Lunch, we do have another Learn at Lunch tomorrow, and that will be presented by Rebecca Florestella, who will share with you about the Agree to Participate activity. I will briefly touch on it, but I won't speak about it in detail because that's what tomorrow's session is about. We'll make sure that you have access to that information, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow for that Learn at Lunch session. So before getting into the actual application, we want to talk about a few preparatory steps that you want to make sure that you have completed prior to submitting a new study application in BruinIRB. So the first is completion of appropriate city training. So just as WebIRB had automatic city training checks, BruinIRB also has those same checks that will prevent the submission of the application if individuals listed on the study do not have valid city training. So hopefully you'll see what that looks like in the system as we go through the live demonstration. In addition to all individuals listed needing city training, everyone will also need a BruinIRB account if they are going to be added to the study. So individuals who already have an existing WebIRB account should automatically have a BruinIRB account. So you should test that out. All others will have to request a BruinIRB account, and we'll show you where and how to access that at a later date. It's pretty much the same. The process is the same as WebIRB. You would send the required information, but the email address has changed for BruinIRB. So unlike WebIRB, BruinIRB is a protocol-based submission platform. So each application will require the inclusion of a protocol to be uploaded with the application. And depending on your study design, you may need to complete protocol supplements if your existing protocol is lacking certain information that the UCLA IRBs require. So even if the study has an existing grant protocol, sponsor protocol, or investigator-initiated protocol, there may be information that OHRPP requests that may not be included in your existing protocol, such as recruitment information. For those of you familiar with WebIRB, you'll recall that that information was captured within the application, but BruinIRB it is not, and therefore it should be included in the protocol template. So you may need to complete certain sections like that in a protocol template if your existing protocol does not have that information. And then you may need to complete a protocol supplement depending on your study design or the type of population that you are including in your study. The protocol templates and protocol supplements are now on the OHRPP website. For those of you who haven't visited the website in a while, we have a new tab, a new BruinIRB tab on our main page. So you can select the BruinIRB tab and go to the BruinIRB resource library, and you can access the protocols and protocol templates, supplements, protocol templates and protocol supplements. So please pay attention to which ones you are downloading, because we do have different templates for different types of studies. And if you are missing a protocol supplement during the pre-review process of your application, IRB staff will let you know if you may need to fill out certain sections in our protocol template, or if you may need to upload a protocol supplement based on your type of study. If you want a little bit more information, Moore did a Learn at Lunch on the protocol templates and supplements a few weeks back. That video is posted on our YouTube page. So if you want more information, you can go back and watch that video for more information on the protocol templates and supplements. If you have not already done so, please check that your BruinIRB profile information, contact information is set. I forgot to take that off. Sorry, you all. Your profile information, you should log into BruinIRB and check your profile and make sure that your BruinIRB contact information is up to date. We do have a video on how to do this on our YouTube channel. BruinIRB profile, you want to make sure that your preferred email is correct, because you want to make sure that you'll be receiving notifications for any studies that you will be added to in the future. Okay, so now we can get into the logistics of creating a new study application. But before we do that, I'm going to pause and see if we have any questions before beginning. All right. And thank you, Anya, for putting in the chat the link to the BruinIRB resource library. All right. So now we can get into the logistics of submitting a new study application. So when you log into the BruinIRB website, this is what you'll see. You'll log in by selecting either login buttons on the left, on the left side of your screen, or the top right. And these are both outlined in red. So for those of you who do not have a BruinIRB account, you can select the BruinIRB accounts button, and it will provide you with instructions. But again, before you go requesting account, please attempt to log into BruinIRB first with your UCLA single sign-on to verify that you do have an account, because you may already have an account and not know it. So we advise you to check that first before going and requesting a new account. So once you log in, you'll be presented with your UCLA single sign-on. So you'll do that. And now we'll jump into the home screen of what you'll see upon logging into your main page. Okay, is everyone able to see my screen here? I just want to verify. Um,
Yes, we can.
okay, perfect. All right, so Um, when you log in, you'll see your screen. We won't go into all of the navigation of BruinIRB. That'll be for another time, but for now, we're just going to create a new study. So you'll go in and you'll select the Create button, and then you'll have only the option to create new study. So once you do that, you'll see that there's only one page available, and that's the basic study information page. This form is important because it collects all the basic information, and then depending on what you enter here, additional fields will appear there. So we'll begin with entering the long title of our study. And please make sure that this is your long title that will be included on your approval notice and official correspondence for this study. And this is the title that will appear in your dashboard where you can easily see all the studies that you are listed on. So of course you'll provide a brief description. This is where you'll indicate whether this is a single site or a multi-site study. For this activity, we'll say it's a multi-site study. Um, and whether an external IRB will act as the IRB of record, no, but UCLA will act as the IRB of record for this study. If you are submitting a study that requires a faculty sponsor, this is where you can enter their name here. So any fields like this where there are names, you can start typing their name, and if you find it, you can select it. But if you cannot find their name, more than likely that means that they do not have a BruinIRB account. In this section here, this is where you will upload your protocol and protocol supplements. So we will upload our protocol here. If you need to change the name, you can change the name from whatever is in your document. If you need to add a version number, you can do that. If you only need to upload one document, so if you just need to upload your protocol, you will just select OK. But in this example, we are going to upload a protocol supplement since we are planning on submitting a clinical trial. So I'm going to select OK, add another, and repeat the process of going to select a document. And for this example, we're going to, we're going to select the protocol supplement, the HIPAA protocol supplement. So we'll upload that. And since those are the only two documents, I can select OK, meaning that I've done uploading those two documents. And you can see that they are here and it automatically populates a version number. Later on, if you go back, if you need to update your application before submitting it, you can select the update version and do that. Then, just like WebIRB, you'll select the IRB that you think best aligns with your research. And then it'll indicate whether there's a conflict of interest. If you have any questions about these questions, there's a help text with the question mark that you can select, and a pop-up screen will reveal more information. And some of our pop-ups have hyperlinks to additional resources and information. So hopefully that these bubbles, these help bubbles will help you along. Okay, so if you're ready to continue on with the application, you can select continue, or you can press save if you need to step away and do something. If you press exit, you may lose your application at this early point. So now we're going to select continue. And now you'll notice that there are additional sections, additional pages that appear on the navigation panel on the left-hand side. You can move forward, as we will do. We'll continue in order of the application, but if you wanted to jump to the next section, if you wanted to, if you need to wait on funding information, you can jump to the next section and jump back. But for us, we will use the continuing button going forward. So in this example, this is asking about funding. And so we will say that this study is funded. And so we will then add our funding. If you know your funding organization, you can begin typing it here, and then you can select it if you do see it here. If you do not see your funding organization, then you can select these three buttons here on the right-hand side, and then you can type in other and select other and OK. And then you can type in the funding organization if there, and then you can indicate the type of funding that is there. If you have a grant, you can upload your grant award in this section. And since it's only one document, I'll just select OK. And then you'll indicate the PI that is on the award. Okay. Does its content differ? So no. And there has been, the funding is still ongoing. So I'm going to select OK because there's only one funding source. And I've added all the information that is there. And if you need to see what the document is, it's there. You can see the attachment that is in that section. And as I said, if you need to go back and update this information later, or if you need to add another funding source, you can do that here. So we're going to now continue to the next page of the application. And this is the page where you add all of your study personnel into this section. So in this first part, this is where you will identify the key personnel into your study. So again, this is where you would begin typing in their name and then looking for them in this section. So again, they must have a BruinIRB account in order for you to find their name in this in the search field. So if you do not see their name, you may want to reach out to that person and verify that they do have a BruinIRB account. So then you'll select the role of the person and indicate whether they're involved in the consent process, if they have a conflict of interest, if they're going to look at identifiable information, and whether they will have access to the key or the code. So in this example, I'm going to add another person to this section. So I'm going to select OK and add another, and it's going to repeat the process there. Okay, and we'll add that person there and go through the same process here. And since that's the only other individual in key personnel I'm going to add him here. You'll notice in this example that this co-investigator does not have completed UCLA HIPAA training or human subjects training, but they do have completed GCP training. I'm going to leave this here for now so that you can see at the end what happens if someone doesn't have complete city training, but this will be your indication to know whether someone doesn't have the appropriate training. If we weren't doing a clinical trial or they weren't accessing medical records or contributing to medical records, or using it, that wouldn't be important. But of course, depending on the type of study, at the end, the application will perform a city check. So now, this is the training confirmation for the PI of the study. This is the personnel. And then if you need to add groups of individuals, such as fellows or students or other volunteers, then this is where you can add them. You can select this box and add groups of rotating personnel. So fellows or people who will rotate throughout the life of the study. You can add them there. And then if you need to add any outside collaborators, so in this example, it's a multi-site study. If you need to add other people, outside collaborators who are important to the study, then you can add them here. So now we are going to continue on. Okay, So this is the study scope page, and so this page collects important information about your study design, and depending on how you answer the questions on this page, it will reveal other pages here. So for example, if you're doing a drug or device study, then after we complete this page, then the drug and device pages will appear for you to answer additional questions about what you are doing. So in this section, this question is asking about whether we're using a drug or a biologic, and we're going to say yes. And then are we using a device, use of a device or use of a humanitarian device? We're going to say yes. Is the protocol any of the following? I'm going to say no. These are all separate applications that are currently available in the BruinIRB system. So we should have none of the above here if we're creating a new study and this a new clinical trial. And then is radiation. So depending on what you select here, your application may be routed to the Radiation Safety Committee, which will perform concurrent review as it does in WebIRB. And then, of course, the clinical trial questions. So those will be checked. Then this question is asking about whether another entity has conducted scientific review to the study. If the answer is no, then of course it will be routed to the scientific review committee as well. And you'll see that as another your study state. So after pre-submission, you'll see scientific review if your study was routed to that committee. Whether it's cancer related, and a whole other host of questions. So these questions are important. Again, these IRB study staff may notify you that you may need to submit a protocol supplement depending on your answers to some of these questions if you didn't include it initially. We'll say that this is a PI-initiated study. We'll say it involves adults, and no, we're not using nurses on site. And now you'll notice that the drug and device sections appeared here as they were not previously there before. So this is a result of the responses to the study scope page. So now we're going to do indicate the location of the research. We'll continue on. And so now we'll go ahead and add any drugs, foods, or biologics in the study. So again, you have the option if you find your drug here, you can type it in. And then you can attach any related files to the drug that you've listed here. And so in this example, I'm going to upload an investigative brochure here. And since I'm only involving one drug in this application, I'm going to select OK. But if you need to add another drug to the study, a drug or a biologic, then or a supplement, you can select OK and add another, and then you'll be prompted to fill out the same screen again where you enter the name of the drug and the information that's there. Then if the drug will be conducted under any IND, we'll say yes. And then we'll see if we'll say that the investigator holds the IND and select OK. And then this is where if you need to attach any other files related to related to this drug, then you will attach it here. If you need to attach multiple documents, again, you can select the OK and add another. And so now we're done with the drug page, and then we'll proceed next with the device page. And so we'll again select add, and then we'll do this. We'll select no. If there are no files to attach related to this device, you don't have to. So I'm going to select OK. And then I'm going to select that it's exempt from IDE requirements. And then if there were any files to attach with this device, then you would select add and then attach any of the documents. So I'm going to continue on. And then this is the local site documents page. So this page is where you will add your consent form, your recruitment materials, and any other attachments that are related to your study that are not, there are no designated spots within the application to add them, such as circ letters, for example. So I'm going to add the consent form. Going to add the recruitment material, the recruitment letter. And so remember in this section, your protocol template indicating how you plan to recruit. So in the protocol template, there are various options similar to what used to be in the WebIRB application. So if you indicate that you're using a flyer or a letter or a script, then this is where you need to upload the types that you said that you were going to enter. You will upload them into this section. And then for other documents, as I said, there are this is where you can upload other documents to this section where there was no other appropriate place to upload them. In this example, we don't have any other documents, so we'll go ahead and continue on. So this is the HIPAA page, and so we're conducting a clinical trial, and so we will answer these questions. If your study does not involve the use or generation or access of patient medical records, then you will select this first option here, and it will remove the other questions. But if your study does involve them, then you will need to answer the appropriate questions. And if you notice that depending on what you answer here, a third section appeared below. And so then we will attest to all that apply for the study. All right. And then for the HIPAA waiver, so above we indicated that we need access to potentially identify participants without authorization, which is why this question appeared here. So we need to tell the IRB why we are requesting a waiver to identify potential participants without authorization. Okay, and then we're almost finished with the application. So we have one more form to complete. So this is the clinical research form. This is a form that the IRB does not have any control over. This is a page for CRMS. So they are collecting information about research activities and resources being used within the hospital. And so you will just need to select all the information that is applicable to your study. And if you are not using any resources, then you would select none of the above. And then you'll need to indicate the department. So then again, this is where you will type in the department that or the study will be held, and then the maximum number of study participants at UCLA. And then this is a multi-site trial, so then across all sites, so we'll say 100. And then we'll indicate the type of study, so we have a drug and a device. We'll say this is a phase 3 study. We'll indicate whether it's registered as a clinical trial, so I'm going to say it's pending registration, but if your study is already registered, this is where you would type in the information that your registration number. And then you'll indicate all that applies. So you'll indicate where some of your activities will be held. And then how the funding in terms of patient billing and services. And then the application is complete. If you need to go back in the meantime and look at anything else, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're going to say for now it's complete. And then this is the final page. So remember that you need to click finish first, and then there will be additional steps before you can actually submit your application. So we're going to finish. All right. So our study is submitted finished. We finished the application, and it has taken us to our study's homepage. So now I'm going to talk about what we'll submit. After finishing the application, you will not be able to submit your application until everyone listed as key personnel and the faculty sponsor, if applicable, have agreed to participate. You can check to see the status of whether everyone has agreed to participate. I won't go into detail here because tomorrow's Learn at Lunch will cover this activity and process in more detail, but you can select the Agreed to Participate tab, which will then reveal everyone's status on agreeing to participate. You can see each individual on the study and whether they have agreed and when they did so, and whether the request is still pending. In order for the IRB to receive your application, you must submit your application by selecting the Submit button on the study main page. And you can see that there. Only after that point will the IRB receive your activity. But again, this ability to submit your application will not be available until everyone has agreed to participate. And then you'll submit your application, and then your application will go from pre-submission to pre-review, assuming that you don't require review by the scientific review committee, but your application will go up to pre-review after you hit submit. So just note that it may take a couple of days from when you finish your application to everyone agreeing to participate. So that is the content for today. Are there any questions about the application? Oh, speaking of the agree to participate, I want to let you all know that as a reminder, tomorrow, Rebecca will present on the agree to participate function. So she'll go into more detail about that activity. I just wanted to let you know that that was something that was different from the last time we presented this activity. So she will go into detail about the purpose and the functionality of that activity in more detail, and the link to tomorrow's Learn at Lunch at noon can be found in the HRN that was sent out yesterday. So hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. And now we will make time for questions.
Oh, Tiffany, I just want to add one thing. If you don't receive the Human Research News, you can go to our website, which is ohrpp.research.ucla.edu. You scroll down to the bottom, there are copies of our latest Human Research News for you to see and get the link off of.
So yes, someone is asking about, yes, the city check is automated. And so we don't need to upload city training certificates. So if someone's training is not valid for the application, then it will prevent the submission of the study. And so you'll get a warning sign afterwards, whether their city training is not valid. And so you'll need to go back and edit and remove them or have them complete the training before you're able to submit the application. So there will be two things that could potentially hold up your application, and that's city training and the agree to participate. So this is very important to make sure that people on your staff, that you all are communicating with everyone to make sure that you are able to submit your application in a timely manner. And you'll receive notifications for the appropriate people will receive notifications for that. Are there any other questions?
Hi, this might be a little off topic, but do you know when the due date is for existing studies in WebIRB to be transferred over to BruinIRB?
That process is starting to
Yes,
happen. Go ahead.
do you want me to
Go
address
ahead,
that,
Rebecca.
Tiffany? Thank you.
Yes, please.
So, yeah, sorry about that. So our migration is planned for the weekend of September 7th through 9th. So from 8 a.m. on Saturday, September 7th, to about 8 a.m. on Monday, September 9th. Both WebIRB and BruinIRB will not be available for use. And we will be migrating all approved studies with no pending amendment, continuation, or PAR submission. So what we refer to as legacy studies, both full board and expedited studies will be migrated so that when BruinIRB goes live on Monday, September 9th, you will now be managing your study, your migrated study in BruinIRB.
Got it. Thank you so much. Is there?
Right, and then after that, so after that first weekend, we will continue to migrate each Friday studies that have been approved in the week prior. Or so if your study has a pending amendment and it gets approved Tuesday, within 7 to 10 days, your study will be migrated over to BruinIRB. As soon as your study is migrated, you'll receive an email notification. And in addition, the state and WebIRB will change from approved to migrated. It'll include the link to BruinIRB, and then you won't have any access to any buttons for amendments or CRs.
And
Thank you.
Anya just put in the chat the link to information. So that BruinIRB tab, the new tab on the OHRPP website, is a great source of information for that, and the HRN about migration of studies and timelines and all and what will happen with a WebIRB after a certain point. So please continue to check back.
Yeah, and then also just there's a couple follow-up questions here I can address. So the notification of migration goes to the PI proxy, and the PI contact. So they will be copied on the notification. And again, your WebIRB space will change and have a state of migrated. So it'll be very apparent that your study's been migrated. And then we had a question whether BruinIRB gives you feedback on whether there's certain parts of the application that haven't been completed. And yes, it does, similar to WebIRB. When you hit submit, there's a validation check, and you'll receive error messages on any required questions that weren't completed that must be completed before it can be submitted.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca, for those thorough responses.
No problem.
Does anyone else have any questions related to submitting a new application? All right. So even if you didn't get your question answered, or you're still thinking of questions and you don't know how to, whether you're too shy to submit them here in this section, we will greatly appreciate your feedback. The link has just been put in the chat. You can ask additional questions or let us know what resources you think you may need for BruinIRB. But of course, again, check the OHRPP website. Within the coming weeks, new resources will be added. Upcoming, even after the BruinIRB Phase 2 will be available, new resources will continue to be added to the website and the OHRPP YouTube channel, which I want to remind you about. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be made aware of when we update videos. So once the Learn at Lunch recordings are put up there, they're there, or when we release new just-in-time videos, you'll have access to those. And as I mentioned before, for anyone that still has questions about the protocol templates and supplements, go to our YouTube page and watch the video on the protocol supplements. It was a Learn at Lunch given several weeks ago, so you can go and watch that. And if you've missed any of our previous Learn at Lunches in the past couple of months related to BruinIRB, those are all on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it.